Have you ever wondered why you aren't winning games that you think you should be winning? Or you don't have the gems that you think you should have? Well, let me tell you about the 5 biggest mistakes players are making in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duels. Let's get right into it. So, reason number 1, one of the biggest mistakes that people make, and I've made myself, is we're not crafting the correct cards. Now, if you look on the screen, this is the first deck that I built coming into Master Duels because this was my favorite deck, okay? Look at how many URs that this deck needs. We have 3 UR Astro Karibos, we have 3 UR Dimension Shifters, a Pankratops, double Dogaran, Bigfoots, we have Gizmex that are URs, Interrupted Kaiju Slumbers, and don't even get me started on the extra deck, okay? All of these URs, I actually used my points to craft these cards, and it ended up being one of my biggest mistakes because now I don't have the UR points to craft the cards that I actually need, right? The top 5 cards you should be crafting with your first however many UR points that you have is Max C, okay? This is the card that you absolutely need in every single deck moving forward until Konami decides to change up the ban list, right? Another card that you really need is Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Not only does it stop most decks, but it actually also stops Max C as well, okay? Another card on this list that you should be crafting is Infinite Impermanence. Now, as you can tell, I only have 2, and I'm definitely going to be on my way to make a 3rd one, but this is like the greatest example of why you're not winning as many games as you think you should be, simply because you crafted all the cards that you don't need and that, you know, are only in archetype, which means that only work with your one deck. So every time, you know, your opponent plays a staple card, you don't have another staple card to counter that card, like Call by the Grave, which is at 2, but I only have 1. See what I mean? Don't make the same mistakes that I'm making. Learn from my mistakes. That's why these videos exist. And if you do like this video, consider subscribing, liking, and commenting down below what other Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duels content you would like to see. Also, share the video with your friends so they can also enjoy the game. Let's move on to the next topic. The next biggest mistake that players are making is you're playing a deck that simply cannot go second. In Master Duels, we're playing a best-of-1 format, which means everything is dice roll dependent. So if you don't have the staples to go second, and on top of that, you're playing an only going first deck, you're going to get absolutely punished when you play second, right? Now, if you look on the screen right now, this is a true Draco deck that I built that is really good at going first, right? And there are some changes that we can make so that it can easily go second as well. Now, one of the best cards to help you go second in a going first deck is a card called Solemn Strike. Now, this card says, when a monster or monsters would be summoned or a monster effect is activated, pay 1,500 life points, negate the summon or activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Now, this is something called a counter trap, which means it is spell speed 4, which means unless your opponent also has a counter trap, they cannot respond to this card. So let's say your opponent has 50 negates on board on one monster alone. I'm talking to you, Drytrons. If you flip Solemn Strike on Herald of Perfection or Ultimateness, you'll negate it and destroy it and will allow you to play the game. But let's say you are playing an only going first deck and you just simply do not have the staples to play, then you are most definitely going to get punished if you lose that dice roll. Because let's say the dice roll, you know, by numbers alone, it's 50-50, right? Heads or tails. So by that alone, if you can't play second, you're going to be losing 50% of your games. And knowing how unlucky you are as a person, you're probably going second 90% of the time. So if you're losing 90% of the time, you're definitely not going to make it to plat. You know what I'm saying? I gotta break myself out this curse, bro. It's you and me. It's both you and me, bro. Another really big mistake that you're making is you simply do not understand the meta at the higher levels of play. I know a lot of you are probably stuck in Platinum 5 or 4, right? But just because your deck saw a lot of success from Rookie to Gold doesn't mean it's necessarily good. A lot of the decks that are being played in that Rookie to Gold level are generally decks that people enjoyed from the anime, people's fun decks, or Duel Links players who think that their deck is absolutely going to be insane in Master Duels, but that's generally not the case, right? Once you hit that Platinum level, you're going to be playing against other people who kind of have this wake-up call, right? So most of the decks in Platinum are generally going to be some Ellic variant, some Invoked variant. You're going to have some Tri-Brigade Zoo variant. You have Tri-Brigade Lyralisk, and you have all these really combo-heavy decks like Drytron as well. But you have to understand that even when you are playing up against these decks, all these decks have major choke points, and there are staple cards that you should be playing to be able to counter the decks that are up in these higher tier rankings, right? And you yourself need to be doing the research by watching videos, whether it be from us or from somebody else, to really be able to study the meta and really understand that maybe your deck isn't as good as you may think it is, or your deck is good but you don't have the necessary staples to play at some of these higher ranks. So my biggest tip here to not make this mistake is, as you play in the higher ranks, whether you win or lose, make sure you're really studying the meta and really studying what people are playing and how they play and how they interact with you, right? Because players in Platinum definitely do interact much differently than any other players in all the ranks below that rank, all right, guys? So let's move on to the next mistake. Now, the next biggest mistakes ends up over here at the shop, all right? Gems are very limited, especially if you're free to play, which means other than the dual pass and the bundle deals, which I've already said to immediately purchase, you are chilling in this accessories tab. Now, let's see how much we need to completely drip up our setup. Now, the mates are 300 gems, the dual fields are 600, the protectors are 100. So already right there, you're looking at 1,000 gems. 1,050 to drip yourself up. You can be saving those 1,000 gems to buy packs, to get URs, to dismantle those URs, to be crafting cards that you absolutely need. Now, if you guys watched our kind of the ultimate beginner's guide for Master Duels, I specifically told you to not purchase master packs because most of the staples are not in these, can only be found in master packs, but the fact that you have to contend with 6,750 cards to get a chance at a staple, you're much better going into the crafting portion of the game and crafting these URs, and you can only do that by opening packs, and I completely get that, but there are better packs that you can open, especially if you want to play a certain archetype, right? Because like I mentioned before, in the secret packs tab, let's say I really want to play Shaddolls, right? Then I can open this Shaddol specific pack, which the URs that we get are the cards that we absolutely need, and all the extras can be dismantled to get the URs that you actually need via crafting, because some of them, your staple cards can't be found in secret packs or stalwart packs. They're only found in master packs, but because you're contesting with pretty much the entire card pool, you're definitely better off crafting these instead. Now, on to the biggest mistake ever. All right, so we're going to move into our fifth and biggest mistake that people are making when it comes to ranked duels. Now, I want you to really focus on this bottom right-hand corner where it says auto, off, and on. But every time you get into a duel, it will automatically be set to auto. So I'm going to show you why, if you do not change this, why you're going to get punished bad. So I'm just going to do a really simple combo. And this combo is probably the most simplest one you can do in this game. But that's generally... we're just trying to prove a point here. So we're going to activate Petting Cess, and we will summon the Pudding Cess from our deck. And then we're going to overlay them into Glass Souffle, set the Impermanent Pass, okay? And I generally want to show you the interaction between Infinite Impermanence and cards in the game, right? Because on auto and on, you get two very, very different interactions, okay? So I'm going to set the Imperm and pass. And my opponent... one of our good mods in our Discord, if you guys want to join our Discord, the link's down in the description box down below, he's going to make Access Code Talker, and I want to show you something really, really interesting. So we're going to watch him as he combos off. So he's going to activate Pot of Desires, which will dump a spell in Graveyard. And when the game is set to auto, the game will generally ask you, hey, do you want to activate something here, right? The game gets to decide. You yourself do not get to decide, which becomes a really, really big issue. So he'll heal Desires, and then let's see what he does next. So I'll activate Eagle Booster, targeting my Glass Souffle, which kind of defeats the purpose. But and then Chain Widow Anchor. So clearly, we're not trying to show you how to play this game. We're trying to get to a certain point here, okay? So he'll Chain Widow Anchor negate. I won't activate anything, and Widow Anchor resolves first, and then we have Eagle Booster. So now
I'm gonna need a turn.
Okay, so he needs a turn. So we'll just draw and pass back right to him, because it seems like he didn't draw Ray or anything he can normal summon. So it definitely do be like that. Okay, so we're gonna pass it back. pass back over to him, and then we'll be good to go. I really hope, Konami, if you're listening, please put like a sandbox feature where you can do some real testing, okay? So let's see if we get lucky. This is the 18th millionth take. He'll Widow Anchor again.
We're fine now.
Alright, cool.
Ripping the Widow Anchor off the top.
Alright. So Widow Anchor here. He'll take my Glass Souffle. And then he'll summon Ash, which will get him Needle Fiber access, or Halky Fiber access, rather.
The best you are to craft. Not actually, don't do it.
And now, even here, on summon, I should be able to activate my Imperm, or chain my Imperm to something. So the game thinks that you want to chain Imperm to this, which, you know, you should, but we're not going to. So he's going to summon the Sage with the it's generally going to be Effect Failure, but sure. And then he's going
it's budget Effect Failure.
Yes, and then he's going to link 3 into Celine, and then Celine will summon back the Sage with the Eyes of Blue, and he's going to go into Access Code Talker. So now I'm going to show you something really interesting, and why, you know, you should definitely be changing this if you do not, okay? So he'll summon back Sage with the Eyes of Blue, and then link 4 into Access Code Talker. Now, what the game should do is allow you, on resolution of access code gaining, allow you to Imperm, but it won't let me do it, and I'll show you the difference.
Can I go into Access?
Yeah. He'll make Access Code Talker here. Now, Access Code Talker says that you can't respond to its effects. On auto, it won't let you, even on resolution, Imperm it, so he loses the attack boost. So
do you want me to activate the effect?
Yes, please.
Sorry. Okay.
So he's going to activate the Access Code effect, and obviously you can't respond to that. So he'll gain off of Celine. And right here, I should be able to activate Imperm, but my opponent has priority. So pop my Imperm. So on auto, you just simply do not get a chance to respond between it gaining and you being able to Imperm between the window of him activating the next effect, right? So this is probably one of the biggest mistakes that you're making by not switching this to on. If this was turned to on, after the access code gains attack, you have a window to Imperm the access code talker, so it loses the gain and it loses the effect to pop. Now, again, this is one of the biggest mistakes that you are making in ranked master duels, and I don't know if my mod here has come across that. Have you ever lost a duel because it was set to auto instead of on?
I have. I've lost a duel with Imperm, but not with Access Code Talker. It was some other random card that popped up in the game.
Yeah.
And I lost because I was not able to Imperm the card, and basically lost my rank up match for Platinum 2.
Yeah, and then you just start losing every match thereafter. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is. So for my 5th and final tip, every time you get into a ranked duel, make sure that this is set to on and not auto, because there are a lot of games that you can win and a lot of interactions that you can come out on top of if it is set to on. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, hit that notification bell, and tell me how much I helped you in the comment section, all right? Because I need some positive affirmation in my life, because the life of a YouTuber is definitely not an easy one, all right? So seriously, if you forgot everything else in the video, just turn it to goddamn on and not auto. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
What's up, guys? If you haven't subscribed, make sure to click that button right there in the middle.
Also, if you haven't watched that video that YouTube is recommending you, it's probably crazy, alright? Go watch it. This is Susu from HeadtoHead Battles.
Head Battles.
Signing out.